Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. I'm Adam Marple.
And I'm Dr. Budi Miller.
And we're the co-artistic directors of the Theater of Others.
Our goal for this podcast is to build an international community of artists drawn together by a shared curiosity in what role theater has to play in confronting global crisis and creating new, thriving communities.
Each week, we'll peel back the curtain on our own views, debates, and speculations. We invite you to join us in these discussions, even criticize us if need be. Let's find the way forward together.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Budi.
How you going?
I'm well. How are you?
Yeah. Ano.
Oh, God.
I just got back from Jakarta with Vinny. And Vinny and I were listening to the podcast, and the analology podcast, because in Jakarta you're in traffic for hours. So we were in traffic listening to the analology podcast with Rumana, and with Mystico Dita, Vinny's assistant. She's Balinese, and we were listening to the podcast, the analology podcast, and we were rolling.
I'm sure I can hear Rumana. Budi, no, you can't say that.
Oh my God, you got it right. That's literally what she said. You should see, you know exactly what her face was too. Like,
yeah.
Speaking of looks, what do you think of my Africa look?
Oh, this is the Africa look.
Yes, because we and our hairstyles can do many things.
You can. You can do.
And I'm giving you Africa.
You can do a lot with
I took my braids out, and now I'm giving you Africa. I am Africa.
You're doing a whole lot with a little.
Wow! Did you just call me a chicken head?
I mean, it is giving me Cindy Lou Who from the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. I mean, it's a little bit.
I'm very. And look at my eyes. Being at the Grinch. Are you Santa Claus?
Wow.
No, I'm hard, man. This is my hard look. This is my hard 1990s look. Yeah, boy. What you talking about, son?
Yeah, those of you who don't have a clue what's going on, you got to go into YouTube just for this. Like, you don't have to watch the whole episode, but you got to. Budi's looking like Cindy Lou Who meets Old Dirty Bastard. It's amazing.
I'm gonna pass out.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I am. So basically, you just asked Chapati, put Cindy Lou Who and Old Dirty Bastard into one person, and this is what you got. You got me.
Yeah.
Full of innocence and a hard ass knuckle.
Exactly. Oh, thank you, Big Baby Jesus.
What'd you say?
Big Baby Jesus. That's
it's Black Baby Jesus.
It was Big Baby Jesus, then it was Black Baby Jesus, then it was Osiris, then it was. He changed his name on every album because he was running from the law.
Okay. Fair enough. And no one runs after Jesus. They're still looking for Jesus. They're still waiting for Jesus to come, baby. Do you know you know what song I've got stuck in my head?
What do you got stuck in your head?
Especially in the times that we're in right now.
Oh God, what?
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoices rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Yeah, hi everyone, Jack the producer here. Budi continues to sing for like 35 more seconds, and I really don't want to deal with the copyright strike, just not today. So I'm gonna cut it. We'll get back to the episode now. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Unfortunately, Jack has to cut all of that because of copyright.
Why? 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 That was for my black people. That was for Keisha J. That was for Sadiq. That was for Rami. That was for my people. That was for Julie Lazamartinez. That was for Shalia Latour. That was for Dr. Taylor Jamal Barfield. And that was for Janelle Chu, who tried to teach me it years ago. I still didn't learn it. Now I know it. It's in me. I walk the path of justice and liberty for black people.
Because you know the words of the song. That's all it takes. That's great.
That's all it took me. And you too could find it on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and learn it on YouTube. If you don't know the National Black Anthem, you need to learn it. Took me 52 years to do it. It's just because the poetry is just so dense. It's dense. But then you feel it
deep down.
You need to learn the song. You need to learn them lyrics too.
I don't do songs. You know this.
That's true. And it's one of those songs that does get trapped into your head.
I'll be honest with you. I muted you.
Ah!
I can't go to bed humming it for the rest of my life.
It's the Negro National Anthem. You need to go to bed humming it.
Why would I?
So when you walk into white spaces and you're humming the Black National Anthem, you will do right. You will lift every voice and sing.
Okay. I think I'd try and do that anyway. I don't think I need a song.
To earth and have a ring? To earth and have a ring, Adam? To earth and have a ring, do you? Do you? Don't lie to me, Adam. To earth and heaven, ring.
To the best of my ability, yes, I do.
And what ability is that? And what ability is that? It's a classic. It's a classic.
Yeah. Classics are in vogue now.
Yes, they are. Classics, epics. You need to know where you came from so you know where you about to go.
Exactly.
How you gonna know where you gonna get? What you gotta get going? What do you want to get? I'm gotta get there. How you gonna get back? And if you're not there, how you gonna come forward and tell them what to do? Because you gotta stay ready. So you ain't gotta do what, Adam Marple?
Get ready.
Amen, Adam Marple. Come on now. See, you on the page. You are on the page. I think we need to start. From some old people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And end up with some living people. How's that sound, Adam?
That's. Yep. Yeah.
Because we gotta do what?
Stay ready. So we don't have to get ready.
So we have to do. So we don't have to do what?
Get ready.
And how do we do that, Adam Marple?
By reading about old people.
Yes, and their ideas about theater. Yes, Adam Marple. Yes.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Yes, honey. It's the hair, Adam. I'm sorry. It's the hair. I know. It's the hair.
Make the old books exciting. That's good.
Yeah, you gotta get with the OGs before you get with the new G's. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's you know what it is? It's I have an antenna. I'm tapped into the source, and
it's true.
When I'm in the current, you know when I'm in the current. Ooh, child.
You're on something. That's for sure.
What am I? What I'm on, Adam? I'm on the truth, the quintessential truth, Ruth.
You're on fire today.
Oh my God, I'm burning. Maybe this is like my wick. I feel like it's like my head has become a stupa and I'm tapped into Shiva right now.
That's what it is. You look like the Thai stupas. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
See?
What it is. Beautiful.
So what are we talking about today, Adam Marple?
We're announcing our book club for the year and getting people excited about reading old people.
Bow chicka bow now, chicka bow 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 bow.
Yeah. We took a different tact with our book club this year and decided, or I proposed, and we may be regretting it, but to read all of the books that you were supposed to read in drama school but didn't.
Wow, are we actually doing the homework that we were assigned 20, 30, 40 years ago?
Yeah. So that we're doing it so you don't have to, or letting you know if you actually should.
So basically, we're becoming We are living Cliff Notes.
In a way, but also saying like, your teacher's asking you to read so-and-so. You don't need to read so-and-so. You really don't.
Because we're going to do it for you. Wow.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, you can do it with us.
With us, please. For the love of God, do it with us.
Because it's a what, Adam?
It's a book club.
Hey, come on now, Adam Marple. You are tapped in.
Yeah.
You better read my mind.
And folks, Oprah's joining us on this book club. This was her idea.
Hey, come on, because she loved the number ones. She loved the number ones.
So
she loved the number ones.
So you have to join this book club to meet Oprah.
Yes.
To
have a direct link to Miss Winfrey.
Yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't want to be talking about ancient Greek theater with Oprah?
Hello, because it's her brand, baby. It's her brand.
It's her brand. It's her 2025 brand.
The truth.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think what we should do, Adam Marple, is we should go through the books, talk about why we're reading the books, because we love the why, right?
Yeah,
we love the why.
Yeah, we do. We love the why.
Yeah, we love the why. And then after the why, we will read the books.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So, what's the first book on the list? Can we get a drum roll, please? Jack, can you put a drum roll? Can
Before every single one of these,
now?
Exactly.
For every single one of these, Jack, we need a drum roll. And
we won't hear them, but there'll be a drum roll on the podcast.
And the drum roll, please.
Aristotle's The Poetics. Yeah, we need laser sounds, Jack. That's what we also need. Yeah, we gotta get the kids excited about these old crusty books.
Yeah, and we need actually, Jack. We need to have like animation on the YouTube. Adam, put your hands up for the animation.
There we go. Yeah, we got lasers. Perfect.
Okay,
perfect.
So why, Adam? Why?
Well, we think it's the oldest one on our book. This is around the 5th century BCE, and it establishes all of the core dramatic principles that the most of us in the Western world still have to deal with: plot, character, catharsis. While there's a lot more theater in the world, the vast majority of the theater that we are doing is influenced by the structures that Aristotle is putting down way back when, and we're still having to deal with. And it's a starting point to challenge or expand our later texts, because it is not the end-all be-all.
Let's talk about the 3 key things that we bring up dramaturgically with the Poetics, right? We've got plot, we've got character, and the famous one that Americans be loving.
They love
it. Catharsis.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is a plot, Adam? What is plot?
Well, I don't know. I haven't read the book yet. I really need to read the book.
Oh, no, you didn't. What does Miss Google say? Define plot.
Oh, Jesus. We're going to do this.
A, B, and C. What's happening in the show? What's the story? Morning Glory?
Plot definition. Well, God, just like our theater definitions, we got to get way down
is it
here.
That bad?
A plan made in secret by a group of people to do something illegal or harmful. Obviously not. The main events of a play, novel, film, or similar work devised and presented by the writer as an interrelated sequence. We'll just use that. That's what we use.
Okay.
The main events of a play presented by the writer as an interrelated sequence. There we go.
Exactly. This happened, then that happened, then this happened, and then she said, and then he said, and then I said, and then we said, and that's what happened, right? That's the plot.
Something like that. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So then after the plot, Miss Honey, Miss Adam Marple.
Oh God. We're not going to talk about this like this in depth, are we? We got
no, but I mean, like, just, what's the character? What's the character? We know character, but the biggest one. Let's go to catharsis. That's the one that I think we need to have a little discussion about.
We will spend a long time on this because this is a mistranslated word that has ruined a lot of acting.
That's true. So why don't we just leave that open for people to read the book?
Exactly. This one is a shorter book. It's a good one to start with. And honestly, this is probably the one that, of the list that we have here, this is probably the one that people have read because their theater history or their dramatic literature teacher made them read it. This is probably the only one anybody has probably read on this list. Maybe there's some other ones, but this one's pretty standard, I think.
And at the bare minimum, they've heard of it.
Yes, for sure. The rest of them, though, maybe not.
And I think the other thing that's really exciting about reading it together, y'all, is how you're going to deviate away from these rules.
Yeah. To know
how you're going to break these rules. What are the clear choices you're making to break the rules? Because we're all about breaking the rules. Okay, because we are the what? Others.
People are always interested in living outside the box, but have you explored the box first to know what you are wanting to be outside of?
See what's in the box first before you break out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What's our second book, Adam Marple?
Now, this is a book that I am for sure nobody has read. Simply because it took us a while to find it.
To find the right translation.
Find the translation.
Because, tell them how many volumes of this book do I have, Adam?
You have too many volumes for your own good.
I have, and I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor, damn it.
Right.
I've got five. I showed five versions that I had on hand. There's another one I can't find. So I have at least six to eight books on this book.
And I read a book about this book before I realized I wasn't reading the book. So
because don't nobody want to read the book. They want to talk about it.
Apparently. Our second book for the month of March will be Bharata's The Natyasastra.
Yes, Natyasastra, baby, Natyasastra, baby.
Now, what's the one thing that maybe people will know about? There's one particular word, just like catharsis comes out of Aristotle. What's that word that people might know from this book?
Well, it depends on what part of India you're in. If you're in the north, it's called ras. If you're in the south, it's called rasa.
But in the West, you probably would have heard Rasa, especially if you listened to our Schechner episode, right?
Rasa boxes.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's probably the only thing anybody knows from this ancient Indian treatise. So,
and it's the word is loaded, and it also comes in Taksu, the work that I focus on in Bali. The aesthetic values of Taksu are inspired by Rasa as well, from the integration of Hinduism from the Majapahit dynasty, from going through Java down into Bali, where they have their Hinduism rooted in the animism of the island, but they also use the word Taksu, which is related to the word Kachaksu, which is to affect the eyes. And so Rasa in Bahasa Indonesia is taste. And you want to think of it as that way, in that way. It's like you're getting the actual, you're actually able to eat the aesthetic value of it. My mentor Iwaya Dibia talks about that when you have Taksu, you're gonna go on stage, you're gonna eat the audience.
What's interesting about this, what's really cool about this book, which I really have already starting to like, is it's not just, Poetics is mostly just about the text, the written word. It says very little about acting or music or the stage at all. This one covers the stage dimensions, the rituals you need to do before coming on stage. Of course, if you know Kathakali or Kutiyattam or any of the other Indian dance theater forms, you know the hand gestures and the makeup, and it talks about all of these things. And
Bharatnatyam,
it's like, it really is a kind of a total treatise on all the theater elements of this, and how they all have connotations to the cosmology, the Indian cosmology, but the universal cosmology, that the world itself, the stage itself, is a world, and the actor is a channeler of those gods coming down. So it's really beautiful. I've wanted to read this. I wanted to read this for a long time, actually.
Yeah, and it's an infinitely trustworthy volume of text that gives you a completely different perspective on theater making from the East.
Exactly.
Okay, you're doing good, Adam Marple. Okay, what's number 3?
Number 3 is Zeami, Fushikaden, which translates something to the treatise on the flower. Zeami is not the father per se, but the most well-known Japanese no actor and playwright. And this is his thoughts and ideas on not just on no theater, but on theater, and transformation and the subtlety that we associate with Japanese theater, no theater, and philosophy, the aesthetics and philosophy, which is why it's called On the Transformation of the Flower. It also does talk about flower making and flower arranging, because he uses a lot of that metaphor to talk about that work.
Well, the flower is in the East is a perfect example of understanding the spiritual practices and also the connection of art within the spiritual practice. You want to be the flower that God wants to smell. So you don't go running after it. You bloom, you blossom, you cultivate the scent and aroma and state that the divine wants to interact with.
I've wanted to read this book for a long time as well. These last two books, These last 2 books were the specific reason why I wanted to do the book club this way this year. It's just gonna be a reason to read it.
And we're in the East. You want to be inspired by the East yet again, Adam Marple. Yet again.
Hey, it was home.
Okay. What's the next one?
Well, the next one, we're not in the East anymore. We're going back west. And you suggested E.M. Tilyard's The Elizabethan World Picture.
Yeah. I selected this because all y'all out there be doing Shakespeare.
Yeah. You're gonna come
and some by choice and some by all right, some are thrust into greatness.
Some for a reason and some for a season.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's interesting is that you get into the societal beliefs of the Elizabethan people, which will contemporize the way in which you interact with the scale of which you're trying to conjure in your imagination. And when you speak to different areas of spiritual thought, and how it actually sits in the Elizabethan mind of where the kings are, and where the normal people are, and where the elements are, and because Shakespeare's writing from this world, and there's conjuring in that. There's a conjuration that happens in that. So there's a deepening in the embodiment of understanding the world in which plays are written. So it's a deep dramaturgical dive into the theater cosmology of the Elizabethan world, and then it also gives you it shows the bridge between classical and contemporary drama,
and a worldview that we maintained for a long time in the theater world, even past the Elizabethan world itself. Yeah.
And I think and through examining the philosophical and hierarchical worldview of Shakespeare's era can put some meaning on what the fuck is happening right now, because we are living in Elizabethan times, y'all. Are we not, Adam Marple?
We are.
Yes, we do.
We live in interesting times.
We do. Yes, we do.
God, yeah. Every day, something else.
Okay, what's the next one, Adam Marple? We're doing good. Well, look at us going through the list.
Yeah. This one.
Oh wait, we're getting drum rolls between these, right?
Yeah. Jack's taking care of all these drum rolls. Yeah. We can't hear him, but he's doing it for sure. We know he's doing it. The next one. Here's a giant jump, but a good one anyway.
So?
I think.
So?
I think so. Here's the thing. I don't think I had a good translation of this book when I read it, because I know you did a whole festival and this was an influence for you, but for me, I have actively stayed away. So I'm interested.
Well, I think you know what's interesting. I think because now you have experienced and embodied what Anthony Artaud. Oh, did I give a little?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, what's the book, Adam Marple?
Theater and its double, Anthony Artaud.
It be doubling, y'all. Theater, it be doubling.
Yeah.
Theater as a violent awakening.
Yeah.
So it calls for a radical break in tradition, right?
Yeah.
It calls for radical break in tradition and narrative theater, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a response to the Elizabethan world, right? The Elizabethan chain of thought and the order.
It's a response to Aristotle as well.
And it's a response to Aristotle, exactly. And it's even a response to Zeami.
Well, we know that Artaud was inspired by the East as well.
Yeah.
That's where he gets a lot of his thoughts of. He doesn't quite understand it, but from his outside perspective, just
and he didn't go to the East.
Yeah, yeah. He's just making a lot of conjectures around it, but I mean,
his conjectures are, and that's why his conjectures are quite problematic, because he can only give his experience through a colonial white male gaze, which, in his defense, he did his fucking best, and he tried really hard, and he wasn't an outlier. He didn't fit, he didn't fit in the real world, so. He didn't have the privilege of being able to go to these places, but when he had the privilege of having those places come to him because he lived in France and he's French, he allowed himself to be moved, and to articulate through the lens in which he could speak. Right? Yeah. He can only speak the language that he knows.
Yeah. And boy, does he set off a storm with this and changes theater for a good long time.
And I think what I would like to examine when we're reading this is the language in which he has to communicate, because the notion that sensory experience is cruel.
Well, I mean, we will when we do this, we will also have to talk about he was also losing his mind too. We know this.
I thought you were going to bring in, but see.
Oh, what, the audience?
But no, yeah. But see, this is the other thing though. How much do we know about him losing his mind from what we consider to be crazy today versus what they consider to be crazy in his day?
Sure, certainly.
Right, we have hysteria, hysterectomy, release, pleasure, sensorial, orgastic opening, like throwing Wilhelm Reich into prison because he's making energy machines that can measure energy. We need to contextually look at how crazy was he?
Yes.
From what we know now.
And here's the thing: we will never know medically how affected he was, but there's some ravings of a madman, a genius, possibly, but also
Adam. Okay, so let's put this into context.
That's why I'm looking forward to reading it again.
In your body,
yes.
Who you are now,
yes.
What you know now,
yes.
Now,
possibly
teleport you into his time.
I know where you're going. Possibly, yes.
Would you not be considered crazy?
I am open to that possibility. Yes, I am open to that possibility.
That's what I'm saying. It's like because the other thing is that he loved the thing that you loved.
Yeah,
the audience, and he was challenging the passivity of the audience.
That's why I want this book on this list. I want to give another go at it, because when I read it before, I was done with it. And so
it's because you were a baby. But you also were a baby. How old were you when you read it?
I was in my 20s. I was still.
See?
You know what? I may have read it in high school, but that still doesn't matter, because I was still reading a lot of these things back then.
And what did you know at 20? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing, Adam Marple. You know a damn thing at 20.
I knew some things.
Not a damn thing.
I knew some things.
You had never even kissed a girl.
You don't know. You don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't know. You don't know.
You don't know. I know you.
You don't know 18-year-old me. You don't know what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, no, absolutely, legitimately, he was seeing things that other people could not see, which is why he was so revolutionary, which is why he did change theater, and also may have drove himself crazy, seeing the world that the world could not see.
See, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm not saying he was crazy and then he wrote this book. I think he saw some things and had to write this book, and then nobody could listen to him until years and years later.
That would drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It nearly did me in many places. I'd be like, that's wrong. I'm going crazy here. Am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So,
what's the next book?
Theater
Drum roll, please.
E.T. Kirby's Total Theater. And you're going to need to talk about this because I've never heard this book.
Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
So it's looking at all of the different aspects of what we consider to be components that contribute to kinds of theater, but it brings it all in as one. This is why I love this book, because it's really good for the Balinese understanding of art. There's consideration for all details, for the music, for the dance, for the singing, for the acting, for the space. Like it's all present, and it's interesting because the multi sensory experience is a participatory kind of experience. Like that is what brings us into a communing. Because and what I love about, and I think Robert Wilson is a perfect example of a total theater experience.
Sure, yeah.
And
the preeminent example, yeah.
Right, and so bringing in the ritualistic with the experimental performance. So yeah, so I just think that it's another book that I think if you know the rules and the details that are being discussed, you can have a dialogue in your work about what you're using and what you're pushing up against.
Yeah.
Okay. Next book.
Jerzy Grotowski's Towards a Poor Theater.
Bow chicka bow now, don't bow. Why, Adam? Marple? Why?
A couple of reasons. One, our background, our teachers and our mentors. You're going to be doing a festival or a symposium around it, and
in October. No, in April. Jesus.
Yeah.
Dyslexia, y'all.
And I don't know how you operate as a theater maker, especially an actor, not having come across it, whether you reject it or not. He pretty much, not necessarily an extension of Stanislavski, but I would say as influential as Stanislavski in terms of acting training and audience as well, of just here's another way theater can be made. And the thing is, this book is only dedicated to like 5-6 years of Grotowski's life. It doesn't talk about the other 40 years afterwards that we never really talk about. But yeah, this I did read this in high school and in college, and then many times afterwards. It is it's a really inspirational book, and if you've ever come across this and you read it in your library, like you found it in your library, it's got pictures and it's got illustrations and it grabs you. And like, that's what people really love. They love looking at the cat. They love looking at the leaps, the tiger rolls. They love looking at the illustrations of the spaces. And then they read it. It needs a better translation, but it still holds up. It still holds up.
The translation, I mean, that could be a whole project that we could even go on, and just as a company, let's go look at these translations of some of these books, because it's almost like I don't know. Like it was like, were they just trying to go verbatim and not try to like find the actual nuance of like the depth of what's being said?
I don't know why they have never tried to re-release this book. This book is the same that it has always been since it came out in like the late 70s. Like they've like, what publishing company only does one version of a book and never tries to release it with notes or context or whatever? Like there's so much written about Grotowski after this period. Like there's that giant, Grotowski reader, like, when Schechner gets involved, or Mercedes Gregory or Andre Gregory or anybody else. Like there's a lot written, and then this book just is the same. They're just leaving it alone. I don't know why, but yeah, they do need a good look at it, because it feels wooden in places, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And if nothing else, Grotowski was really articulate about what he wanted.
Yeah,
what he needed.
He wasn't guy.
He wasn't ambiguous. He didn't really talk in metaphors.
Yeah,
he talked in exactitudes, and this book does not deal with exactitudes, sadly.
Yeah,
but it's still good. Obviously, talking about poor theater, stripped down, actor-centered theater. I love, and I have so many of my ideas inspired by his ideas of sets, costume, the audience, and really sets off contemporary, devised, and immersive theater.
Yeah. And bringing it home. What's our last book of the year?
Wole Soyinka's Myth, Literature, and the African World.
That's right, baby. We're talking about decolonizing theater. Okay, of course we're going to finish with Africa. Are we crazy? How are we not going to finish with Africa? Yeah. We began in Africa, and we're going to finish in Africa. And it's so funny. Adam's like, but you always forget the name of this book, Budi.
I really do.
Every single time.
Every single time.
I can see the cover. I know the author, but I'm like, and you know why? You know what it is? Because it's titled Myth, Literature, and the African World. There's no theater anywhere in the title. There's no theater anywhere in the title. But in the actual text, he talks about theater, and this is the part that I think is interesting. This is the part I think is why my brain keeps losing track of the title, because he's right. It's not about theater, because as soon as we think about theater, we think about Western theater. We think about Aristotle. We think about the Elizabethan world. We think about stage. We think about performative theater for human beings, but it's a ritual space, just like in Bali. There's no name for theater. There's no name for the artist. When the people came to Bali for the first time, they just called them artists because they had no words for how Balinese were all so good at everything and made art all the time. They were making offerings, they were dancing, they were singing, they were playing instruments. It's fully integrated socially and in the culture. So there actually is no language around articulating what the experience is. And that's why I keep forgetting the title. Myth, Literature, and the African World. Love it.
Yeah.
And it examines the traditional roots of African performance beyond Western frameworks, before Western frameworks. Ritual, myth, and the political resistance inside of storytelling, which I think is, that's exactly what we are looking at. Political resistance, and it examines the tool for the identity of liberation within human connection, and connected to something greater than ourselves. So yeah, we're gonna finish with Wole Soyinka. What? Okay.
It's a pretty interesting. That's a good list. I like this list. I'm a little intimidated by it. I'm a little scared of it. I'm a little excited about it. I'm a little like, finally, I'm going to read this book. Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot to talk about.
I think we're going to have a lot to talk about, and I hope that y'all will have a lot to talk about and write into us.
Yeah, questions. I mean, again, These are all things you should have read in drama school at some point or come across at some point in drama school. So like, there's no dumb questions because we're all going to be dummies reading some of this stuff and be like, whew, we got Dr. Budi here. He's also probably going to be lost sometimes, you know, like we're all going to be like questioning these things and going like, I don't agree with that, or I do agree with that, or I'm glad I read this 20 years later and I'm a different person now and I can appreciate this. And it just reminds me, and it's something I was talking to my students about today, that it's, you know, we know this, and you talk about this all the time. Our art form came out of religion.
Yeah.
Our entire art form was a worship of the gods and a way of making sense of the universe. And we forget that when we're out there doing Footloose on Broadway.
It's because it's been institutionalized, and the institution wants us to forget that.
Yeah. But maybe it's important for us to remind ourselves every once in a while that we were priests. We were the translators of the gods. We were the conduit from man to the heavens. Like that is all where we all originally came from. And to be proud and come back to that sometimes, that's a good thing.
So, Adam, how will we know that these people are doing this?
They're going to go to speakpipe.com/theaterbrothers. Again, speakpipe.com/theaterbrothers, theater with an R-E, theaterbrothers, all one word. Leave a 90-second voice message on there. Tell us your thoughts on all these books. And each month, let us know that you're reading along. You have questions for us. You want to make a comment. All the ways that we can find out all your thoughts about these great books that you should have read. We should have read at some point in our life, but we did not. There's also podcast at theaterbrothers.com. You can email there with lots of thoughts. And technically, we are still on Instagram, Facebook.
Unfortunately, we are on the gram, y'all.
I'm not, but somebody in the company.
Did you leave?
I left. I'm done.
Wow.
It still exists. It still exists, but like if you you keep sending me things, and I know you send me videos every once in a while, but like
I'll stop sending you stuff.
But somebody in the
company. So we're on Blue Sky. Is that what we're on? We're on Blue Sky.
No, somebody in the company is still running the Instagram, but I'm not. I'm not going to be a part
of it. Are we going
anymore.
to Blue Sky?
I don't know. Why would you go to Blue Sky?
Because they're not there.
Yeah, but like we were never tweeting in the first place. Why would we go to Blue Sky now?
But I'm tweeting. Oh, you should go to Dr. B. I'm tweeting on Blue Sky. If you want to have little inspirational, great things come to your life, I drop something in. Try to do it every day. It's just a little something, for you. Go see Dr. B on Blue Sky.
Okay, that's the only one. Everybody else, get off of everything else. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. But
I left X.
Yeah, well, I was never on there. I was on
there. I left
in 2015.
X, but look, X was really good. X was good for only one thing: porn and fascism.
Elon Musk, you just described. Yes, exactly. Anyway, beyond that, how are we going to know if they're going to read these books? I mean, how are they going to know what book comes next? How are they going to know what interviews we have coming up? What are they going to do?
They have to subscribe, and lift every voice, and subscribe, and sing, and subscribe to Earth and Heaven Ring, and subscribe. Oh, exactly. We come to your inbox a week. For 5 years, we've come to your inbox a week. Can you believe that? We are dedicated to getting you theater once a week. And you got to be a member and subscribe if you want to know what's going on. And then if you like us, you could be like my Uber driver and give us 5 stars. You give me 5 stars, I give you 5 stars. It's a zero sum. Everybody win that motherfucking game. Okay? We got to win the game. We got to win the game, but you got to play to win. And the way you play to win is you subscribe. Okay? And if you want to give us more than 5 stars, give us 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, plus. Leave us a comment. Say they are amazing. I need to give them more stars. Everyone needs to be up on this. Everyone needs to be up on this. They need to get up on the sauce. And then we leave from the top 5% podcasts in the world and we go to the top 1% podcasts in the world. You know what happens when we're the top 1% podcasts in the world. Well, you know what happens. What happens?
Oprah comes to our book club.
Oprah comes to the book club. She loved the number ones. And when Oprah comes, who comes?
I don't know if she's got a book or not, but she is full of number ones.
Beyonce, she led her number ones. And then when Beyonce come, who come? Who come after Beyonce?
Another really good author herself, Michelle
Number
Obama.
one. Michelle Obama. And, she got time for us now.
She got lots of
and
time.
It's about 2028 right now.
Mamala
Harris, we're here, baby. Come and get on the podcast. We're ready for you. We got books for you. Mm-hmm. Oh, Adam, I love you so much.
I love you too.
I'll talk to you soon.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Always. Yeah. And y'all, we'll be in your inbox next week. Bye! Lift your voices, honey.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater Brothers creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.